Hey guys and gals, make this video here. I'm going to talk about a few things in the video. Predominantly AI, the use of AI to make content, videos, artwork, etc. The video that's playing here in the background is an album, a complete album with complete songs, about 12 songs on this particular album, and they all come with videos, complete videos, 4 or 5 minute long videos for each song. So that's just one of the things I do with AI. A quick introduction into my background and what I do. I'm 49 years old. I've been a professional artist since 2002, selling to the public. I was an intern for Marvel Comics in the late 90s. I do everything. I've done illustrations and drawing. I have 40 plus years of drawing. That brings me to another point of what this video is going to be about is trolls. People that have such a problem with AI art. They like to sit there and tell you who's an artist and who's not. And I hear it all the time. I have 40 plus years of drawing history, and I could give these trolls both my fucking hands and my pencils, and they still, in their wettest dream, couldn't come close to drawing at the level that I'm drawing at almost 50 years old still. Not to mention I build life-size figures. I've built hundreds of life-size figures. These trolls couldn't not only not build the figures I've built, but they wouldn't even know what materials or where to even fucking start. I make custom guitars. I do website design, graphic design, painting, all kind of stuff. I have artwork all over the world. I have from comic book stores to toy stores, hobby shops, people's man caves, bedrooms, offices, you name it. I've pretty much done in some capacity work over the years. Pretty much been a freelance artist. As I mentioned earlier, my dream was to work for Marvel Comics, and I did get accepted to Marvel Comics for an internship in the late 90s, and the letter came. Had a little Spider-Man on the envelope, and I mean, it was like my wildest dreams coming true. I had tried for so long to get in to particularly Marvel Comics. It was like really where I had my focus in particular. At the time, several years ago in the mid to late 90s, Marvel Comics would accept unsolicited artwork, which meant that you could solicit artwork to Marvel Comics. You could just send it in. You could pay the postage. You could send in whatever you wanted, illustrations, drawing, artwork. And if you sent it to them enough and you were persistent enough, they could look at that artwork. And if they liked it, if they were impressed with what they seen, they could offer you something. They could offer you maybe not a position right away initially to start, but like in my case, an internship or temporary work or freelance work or one-ups to use your skills if they thought you had potential. Today, it's not done that way. They changed it. Marvel, for years now, decades even, they don't accept unsolicited artwork no more. The difference between unsolicited and solicited artwork means that unsolicited artwork is that you can just send in artwork, but if Marvel doesn't ask for the artwork anymore, they don't want to see it. Not only will they not accept it if it's not solicited, but they won't even open it out of fear of lawsuits or copyright claims, that if they viewed your work and do something similar, that you may try to counter them and claim they imposed on your work. So Marvel doesn't accept artwork submissions, and they haven't for years anymore. So basically what they're saying is, if we don't call you, if we don't ask, buddy, fuck off. Don't send us anything. Don't bother us. But at the time when I got offered an internship, things were different, and I had talked to a few people at Marvel Comics during my attempts to try to get in with the company, and they kind of walked me through the steps of sending the artwork, putting a couple names on there that would help it get looked at. Eventually, the letter did come, and it did say I was, accepted into the intern program at Marvel Comics in New York City. And, I was flabbergasted. And as fast as the party started, I think within about 2 minutes it became a somber funeral. When reality really set in, when I read the letter in totality, what the letter was saying, and basically the letter was saying that, hey, you're offered an internship here at Marvel. We see potential, and we want you to come in and work side by side with artists and people in the field here at Marvel Comics in New York City. But there is no promise or guarantee that this could lead to any kind of permanent position or any kind of permanent employment with Marvel, obviously. And as you continued to read, it just got worse and worse. The nightmare just became more real. I started to realize as I was reading the letter that interns make no money whatsoever, first of all, at Marvel Comics. So you'd be required to work in New York City, for Marvel Comics. Granted, it's a dream opportunity. It would have been a lot of fun, but there's no money involved with working for them. Fine. But to live in New York City with the cost of living, I would have also needed 2 jobs to try to swing it in New York City. So I'd have to have 2 jobs, work for Marvel Comics for free. And the letter said that to be an internship at that time anyway, I don't know if it's changed, but at that time, in the late 90s, you had to be enrolled in college. So I would have had to have 2 jobs, full-time, work for Marvel for free, go to school full-time, and I'd have to live in New York City and pay New York City bills just to have, like I said, no guarantee, just to have a little bit of a little internship with Marvel Comics. So unfortunately, at that time, what seemed like a dream opportunity for me, I slowly realized was probably not going to be feasible. I would have had a child on the way only about a year and a half later after this time. And I would have been facing not only trying to be a new parent, but living in New York City and have to pay the cost of living not only for me, but for a family. And to do all this for Marvel on the hopes and dreams that this could possibly lead to something. But if I would have worked for Marvel for, say, 4 or 5 hours a day, and then 2 full-time jobs, even if I worked only 10 hours a day, you're talking like 15. With school, 4 or 5 hours a day, that's 20. When am I supposed to sleep here? When am I supposed to eat? How would have this been feasible? How would have this been anything I could have done? So I couldn't do it. And that's when my freelance career pretty much began. I took about a year off to kind of get things together and figure out where I wanted to go. If I wanted to give up being an artist, being a content creator, graphic designer, an illustrator, all these things. If I wanted to give them all up, or did I want to try to just do this on my own, see if I could somehow, make ends meet to do the things I love. Lo and behold, it's 2025, and here I am. Kind of get back into the subject here a little bit. Just wanted to give a little overall of some of the experience I had and some of the opportunities I've had, but it brings us kind of today to 2025 and, using AI to create a lot of things. And like I said, AI is just one of the things I do. I make custom guitars, I build figures, I make custom statues, drawing, design, graphic design, pretty much anything that is a creative tool I'll use. So this brings me to AI. Eventually I did get into experimenting with using AI as a creative tool, to make videos, to make, various things that might not necessarily be something that I would have, done without AI. It has a very, specific use. Being able to create, visuals and animations and stuff like that. Whereas, you can't hand draw everything. Movies aren't hand drawn. So I got into using AI, and one of the problems I've noticed, I mean, I won't even call it a problem, but it's something I've definitely noticed, is the pushback, is these trolls who feel like they can tell me that I'm not a fucking artist because I use AI to create something. Here I am with thousands and fucking thousands of things that I've done for decades. These motherfuckers haven't done anything, jack shit. They have nothing to show, nothing to put up against all their bullshit talk. And I'm kind of confused as to why this is, what the big attack is on AI. Because let's look at something. Let's break it down a little bit. AI is obviously is computer generated. Images and visuals. It's, if you want to call it, art or creation using a computer. Now, is that really any different than what we've been fucking doing for decades? I grew up I was born in the 70s, grew up an 80s kid. We had Atari and Nintendo and Sega Genesis and, PlayStation and Xbox, and every single one of these video games, and consoles and video game fucking components that we have and we've had over the years that we use, they're all computer generated graphics. When you play fucking Grand Theft Auto, that's computer generated graphics. When you play fucking, these video games, whether it's Mario Brothers, some old school shit or some new stuff, they were made with computers. Now, obviously, there's people behind them with ideas, and they're programming the computers, and they're inputting, and they're creating with the computers the final product, the content, the artwork. But that's been done with computers forever, especially in video games. And when you look at movies, particularly blockbuster movies and some of these bigger movies and stuff that we have out there, they're obviously made with CGI. I mean, everybody's watched Marvel's, the Avengers, and all these fucking movies where they go to space and there's all these spaceships and superheroes and fucking lasers and people flying around and all kinds of crazy shit. This is done with CGI. CGI literally stands for computer generated image. So again, we've been using computers to create and manifest artwork with video games for decades. We've been doing it for decades to make movies, programs, and shows. So I don't understand what the huge pushback is when we're using AI now to create or make videos. Which brings me to another fucking, ignorant ass point, which is a lot of these trolls like to, because they're ignorant, they don't know, they like to claim, like I said, the video here, it's playing in the background. These are albums that are an hour long with hours worth of animation and music. And, these assholes like to say that, hey, you generated that with AI. What fucking moron out there thinks that you can generate a 5-minute video, let alone a fucking hour-long video with music all edited, that all plays through seamlessly like this? You cannot do it. The best AI generators that are out there, whether it's, the newer stuff like, Sora, there's a bunch of big ones out there. Whatever it might be, the best AI generators out there can generate a 5-second clip, 10-second at very best. 10 seconds. So that's a far cry from fucking watching an hour-long, album or music with, animations, videos, or if it's a shorter video, which I make a lot of, they're 3, 4, 5-minute videos. So these ignorant trolls just think that these videos will make themselves. There's no editing skills needed. There's no understanding bit rates and recording, and how to, properly set up and edit these videos and, combine hundreds of clips and to create audio and to make an immersive experience. These assholes think that you can just tell AI to do this, what you're seeing here, and it's going to just do this. And it's just totally ignorant. It's just totally stupid. You know, if you're popping out 5 and 10 second clips and claiming that you're some big creator, I can understand that, you know, but I just don't get the pushback. What the huge pushback is, I guess maybe it's just that there's just haters. There's just trolls. They just hate, you know, they can't do it themselves. They never drew. They never created things. They didn't make customs. They didn't make anything in the first fucking place to have any skill. So this is just one more thing that's coming along that the fucking rug's getting put over their face again. And you know, they're not getting on the train. They're not using it. They just want to pick and bitch and battle and point with people and claim this or that is not artwork or this or that is not considered artwork. Like they have a fucking clue. Like they could even touch me in my fucking worst day. On their best day, they couldn't come close. And they have the audacity, you know, to come on, you know, comment once in a while. And I don't want to make it all negative. You get hundreds or thousands of people that do support and, you know, like, comment, share, offer good advice, even to collaborate. You know, people over the years have bought my work. I'm on all kinds of social medias, you know, YouTube here, it's playing here in the background. You know, I'm on IG, Twitter, I got a DeviantArt page, Yourkillercustoms.com, my official website, Facebook page where I have tons of entertainment and all kinds of stuff. I mean, just social media has just really been a huge burden for me because about 10 years ago I didn't fuck with any of it. All I did was just work in the studio. That was all I did. I had an email list. I had a website. People through the years that bought stuff from me. I have a very good reputation with people that have dealt with me. They know I'm legit. They know my work ethic and how I treat customers and my rapport and my professionalism, you know, and just approach and whatever it might be. And also being professional enough to turn down ideas, to tell people that's not for me, I don't think I can do that, it's a little out of my area, or it's not something that I'm into. So I just had a real, you know, grounded, few little small tight-knit community of people that I would work with. I freelanced a lot of work, and I just really didn't do the social media thing at all. But times changed, getting in closer toward 2018, 2019, I really started to realize that, you know, I had probably neglected the social media, developing myself more. That maybe that wasn't a wise move, that I did need to get out there more. I did need to get my work out there more. AI was just another tool I could help do that. I could really make some videos, and I didn't want to infringe on, you know, using videos and other people's music that I didn't own, you know. So making music videos or content with AI would ensure that it's 100% my own content. The visuals, the video, even the music I produce. It's very, very detailed and crafted. Yes, I'm using AI, but there's a lot that goes into it. It's not as simple as, hey AI, give me a fucking hour-long Masters of the Universe video with 12 songs, and fucking asshole trolls think that it's gonna pop out for you. It's not the case. It doesn't work that way. You have to be a video maker. You have to have skills in being able to make videos and content. I mean, just knowing bit rates alone, I mean, could lose fucking half the people even trying to make videos. Basically, you know, bit rate is when you're recording. You know, the bit rate can change. It can be drastically. These numbers can change, and you know, if the bit rate's not right, the video can lag. It can seem skippy. It can not seem like it's lining up with the audio well. The visuals can be delayed. It can just really basically look sloppy and make your attempts to make something look good actually make you look bad, just because your video looks like shit. It's not presented well. It doesn't look good. It doesn't sound well. It doesn't flow well. Now we all have, might be something with a video. It could be a glitch or it could be an issue once in a while. But overall, with all the content that I put out, I want 99% of it, to shine, to be without most flaws. I won't say without any. There's a natural thing with AI. It can have some flaws. I've found really excellent ways to minimize, almost totally reduce the possibility of having these flaws with AI. It's just part of the learning process. But I just really wanted to make this video, kind of just, air out some of the things with AI that I really think it's unfair that if, somebody's created, their whole life with all kinds of tools, they've created different ways and have all these different ways of creating in their tool belt, that some asshole can come along and tell you, hey, you're not this or that because you use this new tool to create. It's just total fucking ignorance, these trolls. I've never once, of all the people, that have given me some fucking pushback or shit, I've never had one of these trolls, not even one, ever come up and say, hey, I don't like this or that, or here's my opinion about this or that, or you're not this or that, and have one of them produce a fucking resume or one piece of work or content to say, hey, here's what I'm doing, I think what you're doing is shit. Because, hey, I'd be open to that. If someone came along and said to me, I don't think you're very good at this or that, and their work blew me away, that would keep me up at night. That would keep me the fuck up at night. That somebody was outworking me, that somebody was doing better than me. And, that we both knew it. It's just kind of the competitive nature of me wanting to bring out the best in what I do and the work that I make. But not once has that happened. Not once has somebody come along and offered anything in comparison when they come and say, you're not this or that as a legitimate form of creation. No, it's just these bots that hide behind these fucking, accounts. And here's another fucking, this one's really funny, is, how many times I've had people come at my videos, my AI videos that I make with the assistance of AI. Like I said, because you're only generating 5 or 10-second clips with AI. So if you're seeing a 5-minute video or an hour-long video that I made, you can imagine what went into making that as a whole. But one of the funny things is I've had people with AI-generated profile pictures come on and try to throw slander at one of my AI videos, and they have a fucking profile picture that was made with AI. I just don't think people really grasp that computers have been aiding in this all along. All along, computers have been in the video games that we've all played. They're in the movies. They're pretty much in everything. Even comic books have computer elements into them. They nowadays, a lot of the ways comic books are made, they scan them, through computers, and some of the hand-drawn work and stuff like that. Computers are used in everything, is basically the point here. So I just don't get what the significant, pushback is against this form of using computers. Maybe the only thing I've come up with is maybe it's the simplicity of AI, that it's really good and it's not really as complicated. It takes a whole lot of input and a whole lot of doing it to create something tangible with it, but it's maybe not as hard as it had been before, because the technology is getting better, and it's getting better rapidly. Where this is going in a few years, people have no idea. There is no ducking this. There is no dodging this. It's not going to go away. AI stocks are going through the roof. The number one thing that anybody could probably invest in right now is AI stocks, and I'm heavily looking into doing that because of the expansion of AI, how it's being used in businesses, and all sorts of things. And I'm not one of these people who sits here and thinks that this is the end of humanity, that this is gonna end. It's gonna take everyone's job. No, it's not. I just explained. Computers been used to make video games and movies, and there's still people behind these things. there's always going to be people needed. Even if AI is being used, there has to be somebody working the AI. There has to be somebody putting this together, promoting it, building these pages. There always will be people and a need for people. I really don't believe, yeah, AI can cut down and reduce the amount of people you need and make things more efficient, but people need to run AI software, people need to program the AI. There's always going to be people working with AI and computer technology. I'm not one that believes it's just going to be an end all. There's just everything's going to be AI and there's going to be no people. I don't see that at all. The same way things have been made in the past is going to be the way they're made in the future. They're going to merge them together, people with these computers and with this technology. So I'm probably going to get wrapping this video up. It's going on about a half hour, but I just wanted to kind of throw it out there. And anyone who wants to check out any of my work, like I said, you can do so. Yourkillercustoms. My Facebook page is really good. I post a lot of videos. Try to keep it funny. All my artwork and stuff's up there. I'm on DeviantArt if you're really into like some of the old school postings and stuff on DeviantArt. I'm on IG a little bit, Twitter. I have a TikTok, your killer TikTok. I have a website, yourkillercustoms.com. You can visit that. I'm always open for, collaborating with people and hearing ideas. And, I really like talking and engaging with like-minded people. It's just really these negative fucking trolls, these negative Nancy's who think they can point here and tell people who and what the fuck they are. That aggravates the piss out of me. It just really does. And if you're one of them people and you got a problem or you don't like something or you think something I do is not up to par, I'm fine with that. But show your credentials. Put your fucking resume up. Put up the stuff you've done so I know who I'm talking to is legit. That you don't live in your mom's basement. You're not some troll who can't draw with a fucking crayon. Because nobody wants to hear your opinion when you can't do it yourself. So again, I encourage anyone to check out my stuff and to keep an open mind. If you're one of these people and you're into AI and you're experimenting with it and you're having fun, don't let these people discourage you. That's the other point of the video. Don't let them tell you what you can and can't do and what you are and what you aren't. Because you're using AI. I mean, I'll pick up a pencil and I'll draw the same thing that I might create with AI. I might even build a life-size one or a statue of the same thing. There's different mediums, there's different needs for different things. You're not gonna do the same trick with the same horse all the time. AI is just another tool in the belt, and it's here to stay. So I've embraced it, trying to use it the best of my ability to create, my content and some of the designs that I haven't brought to life yet. I'm trying to use AI to help me, envision some of those things. So I encourage anyone that has the same, ideas or hobbies to, follow through with it. You don't need anybody else. You don't need anybody's opinions or approval. It's your life. Live it your way. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one. Take care.